This is Money Matters' fourth video on how to find the energy and the drive to actually do it all. Hi grade 12s, I'm Albert van Wyk, and I studied industrial engineering at the University of Pretoria. Today, I'm also an entrepreneur, property investor, and author of my best-selling book, How to Become a Millionaire at 22. And in the previous 3 videos, we talked about my story of exactly how I made my first million while studying. Then we talked about how to save, invest, and grow your wealth as a student. And finally, in the previous video, we talked about how to manage your time between making money and studying while at university. And then the question is, Albert, how do you find the energy and the drive to do all of this? To stick to your time management plan, to actually implement all of the things that we spoke about in the previous 3 videos. Now, to give some clarity on that, while I was studying my 4-year industrial engineering degree, I woke up early every morning and worked till late every night. I had my side businesses and my property portfolio, and I did well in my grades. And in order to do that, I needed a lot of energy and drive to actually complete all of these things and do well in them. And I'm going to share with you in this video exactly how to get that drive and energy and motivation to do it all. The first principle is to understand that you need to tap into your curiosity. What makes you curious? What makes you curious in life? Because you see, curiosity leads to excitement, and excitement leads to endless energy. And that's what you want. You want that endless energy to do what you need to do in order to achieve success. Now let's use an example. Let's say you are curious about vintage cars and you love vintage cars. And if you see vintage cars, your heart pounds and you get some excitement around it, right? And it could be anything for you. But now, at the end of the day, after studying, you're tired and you don't want to speak to anyone, you don't want to see anyone, you just want to go to your room and rest. And then what do? You take out your phone and you start Googling vintage cars, right? And before you know it, you've spent 5-6 hours online watching videos about vintage cars, reading up on vintage cars. Now, where did you get all that energy? Remember, you were tired. You didn't want to do anything. You don't want to speak to anyone. But now, suddenly, you have all this energy to stay up way late at night watching videos and content about vintage cars. Can you relate? Is there something like that in your life? That even when you're tired and everything is too much for you, you still have time to spend on that one thing that makes you curious? Well, that is what we want. That is what we want to chase. So pick a studying direction that you're curious about. Because you're going to be curious about that thing and it's going to give you excitement. And before you know it, you're going to have endless energy to stay awake and work on that thing, to wake up early and work on that endeavor, because it gives you endless energy. And you need to find that. You need to find it in your studying direction, and you need to find it in a business or a side income that you want to generate, because you're never going to get tired working on that if it makes you curious, and if it gives you excitement, and finally gives you endless energy. The second principle is you need to set big goals for yourself. Big, massive goals that scare you. Because small goals aren't that exciting, right? Small goals won't give you excitement and endless energy. So you need to set big goals for yourself. What do you want to achieve in life? Write it down and then go calculate what does it cost to get to those big goals, so that that can excite you, so that you know exactly how much money you need to get there. When I was in university, I wrote my goals down, and I calculated exactly every element of it. I took the price of the property, I took the price of the lawn, I took the price of the fence, I took the price of the doorknob, and the paint on the doorknob. And I knew exactly what my dreams would cost. The car that I wanted to drive, the things I wanted to do, the lifestyle that I wanted to live, and you can do the same. Write that big, scary dream down and then calculate exactly what it would cost you. Because setting big goals does two things for you. One, it keeps you accountable. Accountable to that dream, accountable to that goal, just like a 100-meter athlete, right? A 100-meter athlete that wants to run 1 second faster on the 100-meter. When he decides what to eat or when to go to sleep, he thinks about that 1 second. When he has to decide if he's going to go out with his friends or if he's going to go to the track to practice, he thinks about that 1 second. You see, his whole life is about that 1 second. You can do the same. If you have your big dream and you know exactly what it costs, then whenever you want to buy that cheat meal on campus, you're thinking about that dream. Whenever you want to go out with friends and spend your money needlessly, you think about that goal. And that goal and the price tag on that goal keeps you accountable on a daily basis to work better with your money. And then the second thing it does for you is it inspires action. You see, if you have a small goal, you're going to take small steps towards that goal. Because let's say you have to get to your small goal in 10 years. Each year, you're going to take a tiny step because you have 10 years to get to that goal. If you have a big goal and you need to get there in 10 years, your steps are going to be much bigger every time you need to take a step. So having a big goal inspires action. And you'll see that you'll take much bigger steps than the friends and the colleagues around you because they might have small goals taking tiny steps every day. And then the third principle is make your goals practical. You need to make your goals practical. Take that big goal and break it down into smaller goals. And then take those smaller goals and break it down into even smaller goals until you know exactly what to do today. Let's say you want to start your own industrial engineering consulting firm, and that's your big goal. But you can't do that right now today, right? Before that, you first need your industrial engineering degree at the University of Pretoria, right? But you can't have that today. Before that, you first need to pass all of your tests on campus. You first need to read the books. You first need to attend the classes. But you can't do that immediately right now. Before that, you first need to pass your matric exam and get a good mark so that you can get into the University of Pretoria. And by doing that, you can break it down into smaller spaces. In order to get your matric certificate, you need to actually learn for the next exam and study that book in front of you. Now that is something that you can do right now. That is practical. So then you do this item. You take this step. And when you complete this step, you can now take the next step, and the next step, and the next step, until you eventually reach your massive, big, inspiring goal. Now you might say, Albert, but that's not so easy. How is it possible to do all of those things and reach these big dreams? How is that possible? Well, it's just like a wall. You can't build a wall in one day. It's impossible. You can't build a massive wall just instantly. But what you can do is you can lay your first brick. And that is what we did in this Money Matters series. The first brick is those stories that I told about how I generated my income and how you can do exactly the same in your life. And you start doing something. You start changing your life and implementing these ideas in your life. And then you lay your first brick. Then you lay the second brick. Start investing, start saving, start growing your wealth while studying. And then you lay the third brick. You start managing your time better, using the time you have available, making use of the moment of now and the power that you have in it. And then you start laying the next brick, chasing that curiosity, getting that endless energy. And before you know it, as you keep on stacking one brick after the other, you have your big, amazing wall. Remember, it is possible. If I can do it, so can you. If I can start a little boy from the Moet selling a plastic string at school for a 50-cent markup and end up with a big property and business portfolio, then you can do it as well. It is possible, and it is possible for you. What are you going to do about it? I'm looking forward to seeing all of you next year at the University of Pretoria. And just remember to use the Junior Tikkie online platform to prepare for your final exam in Matric. Good luck.